start this?
However you want to start it.
Okay, sorry.
Crying with tears.
Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody calm down!
Okay, so 1040 is the last module of the year, and it is the most similar to 1010 in that it is, in my opinion, the most difficult. It's as difficult as 1010, but difficult in a much different way, in that 1010 is really hard because you're just starting college, it's all fresh, you need to learn how to study, blah blah blah. 1040 is just, its content is enormous, there's so much of it, but it is still doable.
The only thing you could say maybe about 1040 is I think it is very integrated with each other. So the anatomy, the biochemistry and the physiology all integrates very quickly. You might have something that comes up in all three, rather than some things like 1010 is very separate in terms of your biochemistry is about genetics and your anatomy is about the arm. But in 1040 it's all very interconnected, so try and have a good sense of all three because they can kind of mix and match what they ask. So the way the exam worked for us anyway was that our your CA is only a week before your actual final exam, because it all happens at the end of the year, so it'll all happen after the week or two after you come back from Easter. So a lot of people use Easter and the week after it as a kind of study time for the CA. Sometimes they can limit how much goes on the CA, as in terms of like it's only half the biochem course or something, but really you're better off trying to just know the whole course because the end of year exam comes so quickly after it.
The anatomy labs, you're back to 10 practicals, so going through all of them is really important as well. And as well that usually for anatomy, just going by the anatomy practicals is fine, because like Kathy puts loads of information in them. But for 1040 there are lectures that we don't do practicals on, like a lot of lymph nodes, there's a lot of things in the lectures she doesn't include in the practicals that they're really easy to forget about, but then she can ask really detailed questions on them. And
it's similar to 1010, she does the same. The anatomy spot in particular, it can be quite difficult. Kathy, at the start of the year, I think she kind of eases you in with the anatomy, but I think definitely for us, the 1040 spot was the toughest. She focuses particularly on details like lymph nodes or like autonomic innervations are big things that she likes to ask questions on because they're kind of clinical based. So definitely have a look at them in the lab manuals.
Biochemistry is quite different to everything we've done for semester one. 1030 is a good lead into 1040 biochemistry, so if you know 1030 it's easier to understand 1040. But for 1040 I would recommend getting Lippincott. You don't have to buy the book, you're going to be provided with a PDF, but it simplifies things and kind of puts everything together, because the lectures can be a bit sporadical and hard to follow and quite repetitive. Whereas if you use Lippincott and then do the lectures, I think that's the best way to do it, because you do have to do the lectures because she includes things in the lectures that aren't in the book, but the book does kind of bring it all together in an easier way.
There's nothing in the book really also that, like, Lippincott is good that it doesn't take it to too much detail as well. What she'll examine on is the Lippincott level, so there's nothing there that's going to like freak you out. The book is really helpful with that.
Leninger's is very detailed, so I would go to Lippincott, not Leninger's.
Then the MCQ in physiology and biochemistry, it is a lot, and they don't really limit down biochemistry. They might limit down, or they don't limit down physiology, but they might limit down biochemistry. But it's all a lot, and it all happens at the same time.
And then physiology-wise, we're split between two lectures. So we have Derbla for the first half and Macryl for the second half. They're very different.
Derbla is the same as from 1040.
1010, yeah. And Derbla, just like in 1010, it's just a massive content. Her lectures are really, really long, and it's just getting through them is hard, but she asks a lot of questions based just off all the information in the lectures. Macryl's lectures are much more, they're like diagram based, and I feel like going to those lectures are quite important because he talks and gives a lot of information, but he doesn't include them in the slides. And then especially for the exam, all those diagrams are so important. Like we just had 1040 this morning and it was every second page had a diagram on it with like pieces missing, add in like what enzyme is this, what is this, you need to know all the diagrams.
Yeah.
And I think they're really easy because from a credit you can skim through them so fast because it's just all diagrams, but then you do actually need to know them. For 1040, the way Easter, it fell for us anyway. We had 2 weeks off, then we had like 2 weeks, and then our CAs, I don't know what Easter is like next year, but 1040 is such a long module and you get so worn out from it because it's just non-stop.
How's your revision going?
Yeah, not bad, pretty good. Got an excellent schedule sorted, colour-coded and balancing my time well. Got some drinks here to help, Pro Plus, that sort of thing.
Right.
And nothing's fucking going in. Nothing.
That I would recommend if you have 2 weeks for Easter, take a week off and then study for the second week because otherwise
You'll be held to that, if they do badly. You'll be held to
sugar,
that.
I will. Okay, don't take a week off, study all the time. Never stop.
Take a weekend off.
Yeah, I'll say.
Do
So
something
the-
else.
1040 is a day off, Aoife.
A weekend. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Do something fun and don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, for
You can do a
1040.
small bit and then take a break.
Okay, fair. I took all of Easter off.
Enjoyable, relaxing.
Bad choice. For 1040, it's a really, really long module and you get really worn out going through it because you kind of have to continuously study it or it's so easy to fall behind. So just make sure so you're not worn out for the actual summer exams because the summer exam is a really long exam. Just take a few days off or make sure you're doing other things as well. Don't get too wrapped up in just studying. And that's a general point for the whole of first year. Do other things in college.
I will actually say, as a reminder, just with the biochemistry, it can be a lot, and some people have a tendency to think they can do it better at home rather than go to the lectures. But even if you think you can do that, tutorials, she puts a lot of effort into tutorials, and we had the exam this morning, and there were things that came up in the exam that she went through with us in detail in these tutorials. So even if you go, I think there was 2 of them for us, if you go to them, they will help you a lot, especially with the final exam more so than the continuous assessment.
And as well, Susan puts loads of MCQs up online and she gives sample MCQs and sample SAQs at the end of lectures. I know maybe even if you're not in her lecture, people take pictures of them. They all came up in our CAs in our summer exam. I'd say half the CA.
She has a question bank and she's not afraid to let you into it.
So just do all those MCQs online because they are going to come up because that's happened for us and it happened for the year before.